Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dead Mall Walking. Today we're exploring a House of Fraser department store, just a couple of days out from closure. Those of you who followed my Instagram for a while, which is linked in the description below, might get a bit of deja vu later in this video, because I posted a few photos from inside the store when it was earmarked for closure back in 2018. We'll get into how all of that went down later in the video. First, some history. House of Fraser had its humble beginnings back in 1849, when Hugh Fraser and James Arthur, not the pop star, opened a drapery store called Arthur & Fraser. 30 years later, after stints as Arthur & Co. and Fraser & McLaren, what would later come to be the flagship store was opened on London's Oxford Street by Dan Harries Evans. In the 1900s, Hugh Fraser III, the original owner's grandson, went on an acquisition spree. McDonald's, not the fast food giant, the Scottish Drapery Corporation, Binns, Dickens & Jones, and Army and Navy stores all became part of the Fraser Group. At one point, the brand even owned the exclusive London department store Harrods. With some 140 branches no longer operating, it's easy to write off House of Fraser's struggles as the result of yet another department store brand trying too hard to expand too quickly. But things aren't quite that simple. As recently as 1985, the business was sold to the Al Fayed family for £615 million. So what exactly did go wrong here? Since 2006, the company has changed hands 3 times. That's a far cry from the family business feel of its early years. Sports Direct Mike Ashley, a retail mogul whose name British viewers will doubtlessly be familiar with, bought House of Fraser out of administration in 2018 for £90 million in cash. Just 1 year afterwards, while struggling to deal with a colossal tax bill from the Belgian authorities, £605 million to be precise, Ashley said that the problems at House of Fraser were, quote, nothing short of terminal thanks to the incompetence of previous management. A number of store closures, including this one obviously, have already been confirmed, and there's little doubt that there will be more to follow. The problem is not that this isn't a nice shop. It's bright and airy with a nice central skylight letting plenty of light in, and feels pretty modern and upmarket even though it's been open since 1986. The problem is that this could be just about any other department store in the world, whether that's Debenhams or John Lewis in the UK, or Macy's or Belk in the US. Despite the brand's Scottish heritage, outside of the name and their stag motif, there's never been any attempt to embrace, or to be more cynical, cash in on that. I'm not saying that they need to have tartan and bagpipes everywhere, but this place has always felt pretty sterile and devoid of character. Just like so many department stores do. I had high hopes that the brand's brush with administration back in 2018 might lead to some innovation under the new owners. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. There were some moves in the right direction, like showcasing furniture from online retailer sofa.com in sort of a pop-up shop, but that was about it. You probably noticed by now that despite the store's closure being imminent, there's still a ton of merchandise around. That's likely because this place isn't shuttering due to liquidation, it's just this individual store closing. As a result, the remaining stock will likely be shipped off to some other House of Fraser store. Until perhaps that one closes too. Like a big game of retail whack-a-mole. Let's head downstairs now, which houses the women's, kids and makeup sections, to see how they're faring. As you can see, there's no shortage of stock here either. along with some store fittings for sale on the left hand side there, which I'm always tempted to buy, even though I have absolutely no idea what I'd do with any of it. Most of what was on sale here hadn't even been reduced in price by that much, which brings me to one of the biggest problems with department stores, in the UK at least. Because so much floor space in department stores is devoted to other brands' concessions, Levi's, All Saints, Ralph Lauren, Coach and so on, there's a limit to how much control they have over pricing. Hence that exclusion supply small print on all those closing down signs. It's frustrating for shoppers to pick up items in a department store and not really know whether or not the price on the tag is actually what they'll be paying when checking out. Plus, so many of these brands have their own outlet stores and clearance sections on their websites that you have to wonder if there's much opportunity for department stores to sell their stuff at rock bottom prices. Not to mention the fact that they're all paying sizable anchor store rents for the privilege. Like I do every time I come in one of these closing department stores, I found myself wondering why anyone would choose to come here over somewhere like TK Maxx or an outlet mall. Two other places they can also get access to multiple brands at decent prices. There's an irony in the fact that closed off areas like that sofa.com showroom we saw a short while ago, dismantled store fixtures, and extended mannequin families are of more interest, to the likes of me anyway, than a store like this ever would be when it's open properly. I'm always curious as to how department stores in the US, like Macy's for example, seem to have this ability to offer much better bargains, including branded goods. I've seen Levi's jeans and Ralph Lauren shirts in America on sale for $10 or $15. Granted, they're usually pretty offbeat colours, but every time I do, I think about how you'd probably never see prices as low as that in the UK. If anyone has any insight on that, please let me know down in the comments below. You can see on the right that parts of the store were already taped off and inaccessible. Given that there were both security guards and actual police officers, for some reason, wandering around the shop, I decided not to take my chances traipsing into any of these. There's no word on what will replace this store just yet, but given that we're around the 8-minute mark right now, it should be clear from the length of this video that there's plenty of space to fill. For now though, it seems like I'll be sitting empty for a while until new renters come in and figure out what to do with the space. As we round out this tour, I want to say thanks for checking out the video. There'll be more to come soon, but until next time, goodbye from House of Fraser.